Otakuans, welcome back to another beautiful episode.
Welcome.
It's that time of season again. We are doing our mid-season review.
I thought you
Boom.
were talking about Christmas Eve. I'm like, bro, we haven't got
It's
that Thanksgiving yet.
what do you mean? It's pre-Christmas right now. What are you
Bro,
talking
no,
about?
you sent me that the screenshot of the calendar. It's like Christmas, Thanksgiving, Christmas,
Thanksgiving, Christmas.
more Christmas.
So
Bro,
we
love
were at
Christmas.
Target. Yeah, I got Christmas decorations already up.
I
You're gonna see
bet.
them in the back. Yeah, for when I'm trying to get more here soon, but you're gonna see them. I'm gonna have them hanging up.
I need
But
anime Christmas decorations in your room.
I do. But we were at Target, and you know how like shit go on sale after the holiday. So I had like a bunch of people laughing in Target because we went to go look for some reefs to hang on our inside doors, like small
Mm.
reefs. And she went to the Halloween section because that's my wife's favorite holiday. And I was like, babe. And everybody like looked at me. I was like, babe. And she's like, what? And I was like, your holiday's over. Nobody cares anymore. Get out of here. They
No
just
one
started dying.
cares anymore.
I said, your holiday's done. Your holiday is 1 day a year, and mine is 2 months. Get over it. People were just like, people were dying laughing. They thought I was gonna beat. They thought I was gonna beat her or something. But they were so surprised. I mean, look at me and look at her. But
I'm not even
anyway,
gonna make that comparison.
no.
Hey, maybe
Anyways,
you raise your voice too high. I
yeah,
mean, look at you. Like you can't be raising your voice above a certain decimal whenever you're in public.
especially towards certain uh, pigmented
Complexions.
people. Anyways, um, but no, it is that time of season again where we do our mid-season review on anime, and I love this season. I mean, this season was there was like two, maybe two that I was just like, meh, right? Maybe two,
Really?
maybe yeah,
Hmm.
honestly, maybe two. Meh is an S tier. I'm talking about meh as in like C, potential CB.
Really?
That's my meh.
Okay.
That's my meh.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I can feel
but
that.
first, like, subscribe, leave a comment, ring the notification bells down below so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And we've been getting fan questions, so ask us a question. Jump in our DMs, jump on Instagram. If you do follow us on Instagram,
Don't get up
send
in
us a
my
question.
DM.
Send us a
Get
question.
stabbed.
Look, proverbial face smash. But I'm gonna run into the news real quick. I didn't write too much news down because we got to get into this, and you know how this can be when we
Mm.
talk, right? So the first news is Solo Leveling movie. It has a global release of November 28th. I'm happy. I'm happy for it. I love
Okay.
that. So that is a good thing. That
Is it
means we're
like
getting it sooner.
is it like the second season? I haven't checked out any of that
It's
news.
just a movie. It's just a movie. I can't exactly remember. I read a synopsis about it a while ago. I can't
Mm.
exactly remember what it's about, but I think it's like a movie about a side mission. It's like a mission that he goes through.
Okay. All
Um,
right. I'm totally okay with that. If they start doing the
I'll
whole
do
Demon Slayer thing where at second season now you got to get the part of the last part of the last season, the next part of the second season, please don't start. Don't make
yeah,
that a thing.
yeah, that's dumb. Anyways, the Naruto creator, Masashi Kishimoto had its 50th birthday. Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Cheers! Cheers in the crowd.
Mhm.
Um, according to Japan, according to Japanese fans, they are extremely happy about the new ending of Attack on Titan in the movie.
Mm.
Y'all's the same ones that bullied him
Pause.
before.
That transition, like I thought you were talking about Naruto for a second.
Oh no, sorry.
So Japan, talk about the Attack on Titan movie.
Yeah,
Did you look into it? I don't know how you feel
no,
about
I didn't want
me
to.
telling you.
Go ahead. I'm Journey.
All
I'm
right, all
listening.
right. So spoilers, everyone. If you haven't watched the movie and you plan on watching the movie and you don't want to hear about it really isn't mind blowing. I guess it kind of appeases people, whatever.
These are the
So
same niggas that bullied him before about ending it, and
he,
then he changed it, and then he changed it again.
I mean, he doesn't even change it. It's really weird. So just stick with me. So we know how a lot of mangas they have like their side stories. So My Hero
Hmm.
Academia has its little classroom story, so on and so
Hmm.
forth. Attack on Titan has a few side stories. I collect a few of them, or a couple of them. But there's one
Yeah.
side story that's not. I don't really mesh with it, but it's like it's the characters from Attack on Titan, but they're like regular civilians. Like they're like regular people, and
Hmm.
they go to high school and they go on dates and shit like that. Whatever. So spoiler again. The ending
Don't tell me.
of
Don't tell me.
you
I
don't
feel
want to
like I
know
no, no, no. I'm saying I feel like I know where this is gonna go. Go ahead.
the ending of the movie ends the same way. Well, the ending of the anime, which is the kind of the movie, it happens in the movie that's created. But after that part happens, we transition to them in their civilian regular people
Dude.
watching a movie and then them like talking about it, and then we kind of find out that these are the reincarnations of them. So in this world where they're watching the movie of the Titans and everything, they in their past the Titans existed, but it was so long ago people just consider them myths. So they're watching a movie of myths, but in reality, they are the reincarnations of Aaron, Mikasa, of Armin, all of them, watching the movie of their, what do you call them, carnations, the original carnation, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Their ancestors or whatever.
how does one feel about it if somebody didn't like the end of the movie? Maybe you didn't like it for, oh, I believe Aaron didn't tell things a certain way, whatever, you may feel that way. The end of this movie just turns out and says, hey, however you feel about that movie, it's long gone. They have now since died, reincarnated, and they are now able to live a normal life, happy.
Well,
You see Aaron and Mikasa, they have like a thing, they're kind of dating. They
yeah.
So it's kind of like a good
What
ending for everything.
what I assumed you were gonna say was gonna be like it ends that way, and then
Mm.
all of a sudden you see like a book shut, and then he sits up in class, and that's like a story he just made up.
no,
Like,
no, not that bad.
I was like, oh no,
So, what are your
or
thoughts?
like he, or like ends that way, and then he like sits up and he's like, uh, and they're like, "Are you not paying attention in class, Aaron?" And he's like, "Sorry, sorry, sorry. I just had the weirdest dream."
Mm.
I'd have been like,
I think it's slightly better than that because it's essentially that, but also telling you like this is that world, all of that did exist, but these are the reincarnations. I like the fact that they kind of say they are now at peace.
I guess the nigga's still dead though.
I mean,
We all know
they're dead, but their reincarnations are alive, so that's always good, right?
that. All right,
I don't.
next
I
on the
feel like
news.
you know. I don't feel like you like that one too much.
I would have to see the
Okay,
transitions
okay.
to approve of it
I need.
myself.
I need to
We'll see.
watch it myself. Will it
Yeah.
be still running?
Ooh,
Thanksgiving, around Thanksgiving time, right? I know it's in
I think
theaters now,
it should. It may
but it's
be.
anime, so you know it maybe get like two,
Yeah.
3 weeks. So hopefully,
I gotta see. I gotta see what theaters around here because if it's still playing by then, then when you come down, we can go. We can go watch it.
okay.
So next on the news, Boruto and Black Clover are set to return soon due to the merger between Asahi and Studio Period.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a little merger going on. We knew that Boruto was going on hiatus, and then we also knew that Black Clover was coming back, but it was stalled for some reason. We knew that weeks ago. Now we
Mm.
know that there's going to be a merger between these two studios, so we should get those two animes back super soon. I'm excited about Black Clover. Hopefully they take a sharp left
I'm
turn.
sure everybody's happy about it, but honestly, I'm okay with the fact that everything was paused because again, everything was paused because
Good.
Bleach needed to take the front seat, and it has, and I think it's beautiful.
You
I actually
you
saw.
also shouldn't rush through anything just because you know you're about to merge and people are about to get fired. You should wait
I wonder
so
if
you
they
can do
did know
things
that.
right.
Yeah, I think they did it right. They played everything
Yeah,
right. They did the merger, and
yeah.
now they're able. They have the manpower to do everything. But I did want your thoughts on this. So I saw a post, essentially, not to draw everything out, but I saw a post. Essentially, the guy was saying that, oh, everyone was trying to hype up Bleach. Bleach should have remained
Hmm.
canceled because no one's talking about it. But
Hmm.
I watched every season or every part that's come out so far, and it's been absolutely beautiful. But
Yeah,
again, in my from what I've seen, he's right.
yeah.
No one's talking about it. So how about
So
for you?
not technically what I've seen. I've never seen so much versus battles against Bleach characters in my
Hmm.
entire life since Thousand Year Blood War came out. Like at all. Now, are they technically doing it against new characters that we know from TWBY?
Hmm.
Um or
BW,
TYBW,
yeah.
Jesus. Um no, but I've never seen so many Bleach fans come out of the woodwork on like because we're on the same page on Facebook, the
Hmm.
same anime page, and I've never seen so many. versus battles and arguments from Bleach fans that I've seen in my entire life since Thousand Year Blood War came out. I will say that I think Bleach is in one of those. So I heard a saying the other day, right? Or I was actually today. I heard this saying, and it says, "When you're new and you're doing a good job, you know you'll made it when people stop telling you did a good job, right? So if you're brand new at something, somebody will be like, "You did a good job. You did a great job. You did a great job." But when you're older in it and you always do a great job, it's expected of you to do a good job. And most of the time, all you hear is, you were a little off today. What happened? This and that, right?" And I think that's kind of what Bleach is going through, to where people expected it to be good because it's new animation, and Bleach has always been good. People shit on it for their own reasons, and that's fine. They have their opinions, but it's going to be new animation, and you know exactly what it's going to be about. Like, you knew it was going to be nothing but straight gas and war. Like, you knew that. So I
Mm-hmm.
think people just expect it to be like that. So there's not really a lot of hype around it because it's new, but it's not new. You expect it to be good, so
Mm-hmm.
people aren't hyping it up. So they're just like, "Yeah, Bleach is good." Like, yeah, of course it
It's
is. You know
amazing.
what I'm saying?
I don't.
Yeah,
There's no need to talk about it because it is amazing. Like
yeah,
people, I mean, people were getting a little crazy when they're like, "Oh, everything that's going on in Bleach is better than anything that's going on in anime everywhere else." That's kind of crazy, but it's been perfect. So there's no
yeah,
need to say, "Oh, this episode was great." Every episode's been
yeah.
great.
It's pure
it's
gas.
been
It's pure
it's been
gas.
gas every episode. So
It's literally
I agree.
violence
I
every
agree.
episode.
But no,
There's no.
I'm looking forward to Black Clover come back. I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
I know you're
I'm
more of a
excited.
fan.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But
they was put on the back seat. They was put on the burner for a reason. So was Boruto. So
there was.
they better have some more shit for us because Boruto with that repeated fucking filler going on every fucking season. Hopefully they finish out the regular Boruto and go
Yeah.
straight into that two blue vortex. So
I'm not even gonna get into it because I heard us. Some. I'll talk to you offline about this, but well,
yeah, we're
because
not.
I heard. I
We won't
thought.
talk about two blue vortex.
No, I saw a post about a certain character in blue, and I was like, no, but I was like, does this person actually exist? Anyways, so next on news, got two more. So One Piece Museum is now open in Tokyo.
Mm,
So whenever we get the funds and we go to Japan and we could go to like
definitely.
Akihabara and shit, we can go to that One Piece Museum. So I'm looking forward to that. And the last thing I got, and I put this last because I wanted you to shake your head. Um, Ninja Kamui. There's a game coming out. It's called Shinobi Origins. Releases on PS4 on November
But
14th.
it's not about Shinobi though. It's about fucking robots. It would just be Mega Mecha Ninja Origins. Like, just change the name of it. Because they're not fucking Shinobi. What Shinobi
They
were in
were.
that?
Oh, bro, they were. They showed
Were.
flashbacks.
Before the show, they
They showed
were.
flashbacks,
Pre
bro.
Ninja
Come on.
Kamui
Come on.
Shinobi.
Stop.
That's what it's going to be about.
Stop it.
Pre Ninja Kamui Shinobis.
Stop. You fucking hate that show so much, and I love it.
And
I
they're
love
coming
that for
with
you.
season 2. I don't need that shit. Please don't.
They will. I'm telling you. All
Mm-mm.
right. Okay. Let's roll into our seasonal review or our mid-season review of the animes that we watch. Now, I want to preface this. We've gotten a lot of new subscribers since the last time that we did this. So essentially, what we do is every season of anime, we go from when we do our wrap up of the last season, we do another video where we do our expected anime of the next season and what we're looking forward to. Now, these are all our opinions and what we are looking forward to. So not every anime that came out this season is going to be on our tier list. It's only the ones we collectively have watched either together or separate so we can give our opinions on those shows. Once the first 5 or 6 season episodes comes out, we do a mid-season review, which we go over like the mid of it because that's usually halfway in the season. Say how we feel about it, and then when the season ends and the shows have ended, then we do a end season review. Like, how did it wrap up? Did it go from an S to a B? Did it go from a B to an A? Did it just completely blow our minds? Has it been an S the entire way? And again, these are our opinions, even though they're right. And and
Hey, talk
we
to the
usually
animators about this.
yeah
They check us to make sure they're
yeah
good. So
yeah,
I'm gonna
I'm
tell you,
just saying. Look, mangas crash because of us. I just want y'all to know. Season twos don't come back
shit
because
get
of
put on
us.
hiatus because of us.
Yeah,
I asked Boruto.
you you want to? That's what I was. You want
You really
ask
want
ask ask your boy. Yeah. Anyways, so we usually have about 12 or 13 shows that we have watched either separate or together. So let's get into it. We have S, A, B, C, and D, and there's usually not a lot of D's, but we'll see. We'll see today. Anyways, I'm just kidding.
okay?
Pause. All right. All right. So the first one we have is Goodbye Dragon Life. All right. So Goodbye Dragon Life.
Hmm.
Goodbye Dragon Life. It's not, I know you want excitement from me. Sorry. Let me just la 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 la. All right. So Goodbye Dragon Life
Mm.
is essentially about our main character. His name is Dolan. Dolan was a dragon in his past life. So he was this dragon lord, dragon emperor, whatever you want to call him. He was the mightiest of mighty dragons who was ended up slain by a hero and ended up getting reincarnated, but back into his world as a human being. And now his main goal is to essentially just live out the easy life, just chill. Like all he wants to do is chill. And he ends up meeting this girl along the path. She's like a half snake. I forget what they call them in in like the anime community, but they're half snake, half woman. Um,
Leviathan? No,
no, it's I forgot
I
exactly
can't
what it
remember
was.
either.
But he ends up meeting her, and she's on a quest to find a husband. She's on a quest to find her man's.
Yeah.
That's like what She's out there. She's on a rumspringer, if you if you will. She's out there to find her man's, and she ends up running into Dolan. And Dolan's like, "Look, like I hope you great success. You know, you're very beautiful. I think you'll do fine. This and that." They're like, "All right, you know, peace out." And he's like, "Peace out." He ends up going back to his crib, and then she ends up finding her way into that village that he is in as well. People are freaked out because once again, she is a monster. Even though she's a nice monster, the her I guess her people are considered evil, like villainous, like, and they only have women in their society. So her entire society is made out of women, and they only have girls. In order to reproduce, they need to go out to find husbands. Her mom is married to a human, and so you kind of see where this is going. Like Dolan's supposed to be that guy.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just gonna start off with my opinions on this. It's fucking boring. Like like it's a slice of life. Like it is. Like unless it
Mm.
gets crazy down the path, I like with everything else that was out, I just couldn't. Like I was just like, maybe later. This is
Mm.
something that maybe Sarah would like, so I could me and her could watch it later
Mm-hmm.
when everything else comes out. But right now, I just can't. I think I'm on like episode 3, bro. Like
Oh, okay.
I just I just can't. I know you probably finished up to where it's supposed to be finished. You're caught
Mm.
up, so you got to tell me something for me not to throw this hoe in a B. like, I will, I will
Um.
so fast because to me it's like real quick. If you like slice of lives, cool. Like in the beginning, because again, I don't know what else happens later. But if this is your jam, then I'm not hating. You can put it in an S if you want for you if you like stuff. But for
Oh,
me,
whoa,
I'm
whoa,
just
whoa, whoa. I'm.
I'm not talking about you. I'm not
Yeah,
talking about
yeah,
you.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking about
yeah.
people in general. If their slice of life is their jam and they like the beginning of the show, how slow and paced it was, then
Mm.
cool. But for me, I'm just like, with everything else that was out, you expect me to put this with Demon Lord 2099? That's crazy.
To be fair, it's not a slice of life. It does have slice of life elements. I remember when we did the original, like this is coming out. I was like, I bet this one is going to be a slice of life, even though
Mm-hmm.
it's like Dragon Life, Goodbye Dragon Life.
Yeah.
Um, to be fair, yes, it starts very slowly. It starts
Yeah.
the whole concept of, oh, this is the person. Like you said, she's looking for a man, and we think he's going to be the man.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was the whole bring her to the village. It does pick up. Why I say is not slice of life completely is because they have a first battle against someone who's trying to essentially eat her, and then like that, it's a whole thing. Yeah, and then like they have even more fights. They join a party. They have to essentially fight their way to a main objective.
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to argue that this show needs to be an S. I don't even know if it fully even needs to be an A. If it's going to be an A, it's going to be a low A because it is slow. A B. I don't think a B
I,
is too mean to it. I feel like it just needs to get. It's one of those shows where it has a story to tell and it's trying to do take care of A,
kind
B,
of build
C,
up.
D
Yeah.
to get to the story. It's not
It's
like
struggling to
here's the
build
main
up.
objective. We're going after
Yeah.
that main objective. We have to take care of these things first to get there. So I'm willing to give it an A. It just
I'm
at the
not
beginning it
putting
was way too slow.
nothing else below it.
I mean,
I
depends. This was the lowest.
Out of the season, yes. Yes. Yeah. It was my
Mm,
lowest entire season.
I might move this to B. Let's see. Let's see.
Okay, 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 cool,
We'll
cool,
see.
cool.
Go ahead.
All right. All right, so the next one we have on our list is surprisingly and actually like a really good one.
Mm,
So this is the Do-Over Damsel Conquers the Dragon
mm,
Lord. So this is about Jill Savelle. So Jill Savelle is considered the goddess of war, or the goddess of, yeah, really the goddess of war. That's she's considered the goddess of war in her world. We actually don't find that out for a couple episodes. And essentially what happens, the show starts out with her essentially trying to escape her fiance, and her fiance is trying to kill her. And they had her locked up, they had her chained up. He's like, "You're gonna get beheaded." This, and that. We're like, "What the fuck? What is going on?" And then all of a sudden we get a woo, and then the clock goes. Tick, tick, tick. It starts to clock ticking back, and we're just like, "What the fuck's going on?" She ends up waking up in a body that's like a 12-year-old now. Like she goes back like I think it's 5 years, something like that. Like 5 years, something like
mm.
that. And she goes back 5 years with her still mentality. She was a grown woman, or I wouldn't say grown. She was probably like 18, maybe 17. But she goes back to being a pre-tween, like a tween. And she's like, "Yo, what the hell's going on?" Come to find out, she was just, I guess, not isekai'd, but time went back.
Hmm.
And she's just retain her memories, retain everything that she ever had. She realizes that, oh, hey, tonight's the night I'm supposed to meet that man that is the one that's going to kill me in 5 years, or going to try to kill me in 5 years. So I need to avoid this as much as humanly fucking possible. So she ends up going to the party, still confused about what's going on, this, and that. And the dude sees her and he's like, "Oh, I'm in love with you." He's like a prince. He's like the crown prince of the area. Like, "I'm in love with you, this, and that." And she's like, "No, no, 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 no. Sorry, I can't." Like, she's trying to like dip, dodge, and dive around this motherfucker. And then she's like, I can't because I'm going to marry him. And she backs up into him because she's like the first nigga she picks. That's the one she's gonna marry. And then she like slowly, he's like, "Oh, you love me?" And then she like hears his voice, and she's like, "Oh fuck." And she's like, "I know exactly who this is." And she slowly turns and sees it's the Dragon Emperor. Now, you don't know about the Dragon Emperor. It goes into a little backstory. This nigga like wiped towns and villages. It shows like what he'll do in the future, like in
Mm.
her future self. This motherfucker had like he was like had short hair right now, but he had like super. He looked like Madara. He looked like a skinny Madara, and he
Hmm.
was just wiping towns, just off the face of the earth, just like hatred and pure fire and rage. This, and that. And then she's like, "Fuck, what did I do?" And he's like, "Well, if you're gonna marry me now, like, I guess we got to get engaged and this, and that." And the dude's like, "How dare you take my bride?" And this, and he's like, "She's mine now, pimp." Like, I don't know what to tell you.
She
I
said
don't know
what
what
she
to,
said. You heard her.
it's like I don't know what to tell you. And the dude's not gonna fight him because this nigga is actively the Dragon Emperor as
Like
she
right
touched
now.
him. Like right now, he's not going to be the dragon. He is currently the
But he's
Dragon
not like
Emperor.
murdering people
Nope,
right now.
he's actually really, really nice. And this is where it takes the turn. So they end up having a little conversation. She says, "I actually don't really want to marry you." But then she remembers the future. And then she's like, "Maybe if I love him or like show him compassion, maybe this future won't turn out into existence." So
Mm.
she said, "Actually, I'm going to be a devoted wife, this and that." They're on the cruise ship. Like they're on the ship headed back to his kingdom. He's like, "I'll be a devoted wife, this and that." He's like, "Well, I'm glad you want to I'm glad that you want to be my devoted wife. That means a lot to me. Let me ask you one question. Can you see this?" And she's like, "Talking about the little white dragon that's floating over your shoulder, your fucking Pokemon?" And he's like, "Yeah, you're the one." And she's like, "What?" And then finding out later that he can only marry the one, like she's supposed to take his place, but she has to be blessed by the dragon god. And
Mm.
all the girls that have tried to marry him could
Couldn't
not
see it.
see the little and it's funny because this little dragon like talks, like it has like a little chibi voice, and it's super funny, and like hits him in the back of the head all the time. It's like one of those kind of funny style shows. um and then I was like, this show's kind of like, I'm like, fuck, like when the fuck is this gonna pick up,
Stop
right?
pretending.
and then
You knew
and
you
then
loved it at that moment.
nah. And it, well, Maui loves love. But anyways, and then all of a sudden their ship starts getting attacked.
Hmm.
And then he's just like, "Oh, I need to handle this." And she's like, "Nah, I got it." And I'm like, what you mean by that?" And then she literally goes to the deck. She flies up, floats over the water, and starts like, you remember when trying to think, it was like One Piece where they were like reflecting cannonballs. You know how they like reflect cannonballs all the time?
Hmm.
Like she was just reflecting cannonballs, reflecting cannonballs. Then she shot magic laser at the ship, demolished the ship, and then she flew back down the ship. I'm like, she's broken. She's absolutely broken.
And
Like
she got killed by some random guy.
she gangster. Like, I don't know, bro. She got captured. She something. I don't know how this happened, but
Hmm.
then we end up finding out her name is Jill, the goddess of war, and she was in charge of legions and armies, but she ended
Hmm.
up getting captured. And there's a reason, and I can tell you the reason
Yeah,
why.
I'm gonna watch it.
Okay,
No, I
well,
already planned on watching this. I haven't watched it yet. When I saw it,
yeah,
I'm like, yeah, this is
well,
something.
they end up going back to the kingdom, and they go over the whole idea of why he can't love her. There's a reason why. Again, I won't get into that, but there's a reason why he can't love her. Because he's cursed, but there's more to it. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Mm,
And but he wants her to love him because she's supposed to take his place eventually when he dies. Um, and so the whole idea is now that the kingdoms are going to be at war because he took her from that kingdom, even though her parents rule that kingdom. That crown prince is the prince aligned with that kingdom. So now there's kingdom strife. There's like a lot of struggle between them now.
mm,
And there are people who hate him being the Dragon Emperor because of his curse. And technically, he wasn't supposed to be the Dragon Emperor. His brothers were the Dragon Emperors before him, his dad was. But the thing is that people don't know is that they think everybody dies around him or something crazy like that. But other Dragon Emperors have never been able to actually see the dragon god that's sitting on his shoulder.
mm.
None of them have been. So they have never actually been true dragon emperors. And so now her whole plan is to just show devotion, loyalty, and love to him until the end of her days, so that he doesn't turn into the Madara versus the Shinobi Alliance type shit.
Yeah.
And what I love about this show, to start getting into my opinions here, because that's kind of where it leaves off, is the strife between. There's somebody that tried to stage a coup in his neighborhood, in his kingdom, and he demolished that shit real quick.
Mm.
And she helped him. She helped him with her smarts and her wits and stuff. The
I
one thing I
mean,
love
God
about
of
this show,
War.
yeah, the one thing I love about this show is when they do kingdom politics, they do it very simply. Like they transitioned really well from action and combat and fighting into
Mm.
politics. And you know me, I hate when all of a sudden it just a switch where now it's just talking about this kingdom hates this kingdom because this kingdom did that to this other kingdom and this kingdom did this to I hate that. But this show did it extremely well. The one thing I will say is they started to kind of, now this again, this is mid-season, but they started to dropped down on the action and started showing a little bit more slice of life halfway through but you can tell there's building up animosity. Like the last episode I watched, which was episode 5, is that the dude sent her a letter that she was supposed to be in love with, or that she was supposed to marry, and said, "I'm coming after you right now." And he said, "Bet." Like he said, "I guess we got to prepare." So they're building up for something heavy, but right now it turned very slice of life ish. But this is a high A to me
Mm.
because depending on where it goes from there, um, it it'll be it could get really good or they could just fizzle out. You know what I'm saying? But it's a very high A. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
So
Yeah,
high A. I mean, the way you
yeah,
was talking, I'm gonna be honest with you. You gotta, yeah, bring that one over.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
thought you were gonna say it was an S. You know, Maui love. Apparently, the whole
So
relationship, them being
the
OP'd
only
couple. No.
so it doesn't give me, the only thing that gave me the wow factor was the fact that she did that. She has like powers, but then I like there's a reason for it, but after that she like never used any of them. Like there was no, but she's also trying to keep it low key. And
Uh-huh.
so like there was a time where when they were staging the person who staging the coup tried to frame her as a spy, and they had her all in chains and shit, and then she was just like, and she's like, all right, let's go. Like she just broke out of chain, like because she's super strong, super fast, like
Mm.
she's OP as fuck. But then again, like I said, it gets a little slice of life ish, but that's because the war hasn't started yet. But it's picking up to that point. Like I
Yeah.
know it is, but I don't really want to commit to an S because again, it could really fizzle out or get really dope at
Mm.
the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So I want to be safe with an A here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this one has
So
the Maui winning formula when it has the slice of life elements,
yeah,
romantic
and it's
what's it
funny.
called? The rom com elements mixed in with some action, good magic or what good fight scenes. So I
Yeah,
thought you were gonna put it like as maybe a super low S, but hey, it has the potential of picking up if she
100%.
continues on with her badassery. So
Yeah, yeah,
I
absolutely.
can accept it. I'm definitely gonna look
Um,
watch it. So I look forward to it.
Yeah. So the next one we got is Gundam Requiem of Vengeance. This one kind of shouldn't be on here. Usually, what we do is ones that have fully completed in the season, we wait till the end of this season to talk about them. But it found its way in here. One thing I did want to mention This is separate from the PD universe. So the PD universe is post disaster. That's where your Iron Blood Orphans comes from.
Hmm.
So this is the Universal Century, and then you have the post disaster universe. So they're two separate universes. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay.
But Gundam, it was an S because I, and maybe this is biased only because there's been a lot of Gundams that have come out besides Witch of Mercury that have been shit. They've been absolute shit, and they
Hmm.
actually did a really good job on this one. Besides the animation, so I think it's like a very low S, like a very low S, but it's an S because I think it was fantastic. Every episode was good. I didn't see a bad episode.
Okay.
So, and they lined it up well. I mean, he just died differently, but that's really about it. So, low S.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Can you agree with that?
Yeah, I can agree with that from what I've seen.
Tell him.
Honestly, sometimes I'll be watching the show like, who's the bad guy again? Especially watching this one, I was like, wait, aren't they the bad guy? I'm
But
so
but I mean,
confused right now.
but I
Like, I
mean
was
that's
gonna
the
text
point.
you, and I think I was gonna text you one point like, hey, who's the bad guy again?
I
It's
mean,
Earth's the good guys, right?
but that's the point of war, right? Is like everybody, and that's what they're trying to do. Everybody sees themselves as the good guys,
Hmm.
right? They see themselves, which theoretically, the Xeon forces, think of it like Texas wanting to secede from the United States. They wanted to run their own shit and not be fucked up by the Federation, but the Federation was like, no, your land is ours. Why would we let you take our land? So
Hmm.
now we're gonna fight you. They ran them off into space. They went in space, collected, built mobile suits, came back down to Earth, built an army, built mobile suits, came back down to Earth to fight for their land. And Earth Federation's like, no, it's our shit. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? No. Like, and so they fought back.
Hmm.
And that's Earth Federation is the Earth Federation. They've been around for hundreds of years, and Xeon's been around for yeah, yeah,
I'm happy that
yeah,
without that context, I was still able to feel like I
absolutely,
watched
yeah,
a complete full product. And I
yeah,
think that, and that reason it's an S. For everything else that you mentioned,
yeah,
it sucks for them.
yeah.
But
It's
from this
slaughtered, bro.
side, from the newbie side of
Slaughtered,
Gundam, I
slaughtered.
really hope they survive. I hope they are able to take over Earth, I guess.
Chat? Who's going
Next,
to tell them? Next anime we have is Let This Grieving Soul Retire.
Hmm.
Let This Grieving Soul Retire was good. I loved it. And this is about our MC, our main character named Cry. this is the this is the definition of tripping forward, like in life.
Hmm.
This is essentially about a man named Cry who, as a young kid, he with his friends they decided that they wanted to create the greatest party of adventurers in the entire world. Now, one thing I like about this is they do have adventurer guilds and like a guild thing, but it's more about um like it's more about hunters, like hunting for like treasure vaults. So
Hmm.
instead of it just being hunting for floors or hunting, certain demon lords or whatever, it's like a treasure vault. Like they try to get certain treasures. Well, this man ends up forming a party with his. I can't even explain all the funniest shit he does, but like he ends up forming a party with his kid friends, and they end up doing a shit ton of dungeons, like a bunch, over and over and over again. And I'm gonna say this now, and then I'm gonna change it for what I'm about to say here in a second. But he is weak, right? He's super weak. He doesn't have any powers. All his friends are 10 times OP than he is, but for some reason, they want him to be the leader. At one point, he realizes that he's dragging them down. And even though he's like, for example, he's in the dungeon and he's standing there and he's like, all right, guys, I think we should go back home. And then he's standing there like, cry, watch out. And this giant monster is about to eat him. And then he like steps out of the way. And then one of his dudes just slashes in half. He's like, I see what you were doing. You were being bait so we could get this last kill and make more
Hmm.
money.
Tripping out.
And,
Got it.
and he's like, in his mind, he's like, "What? No, I had no idea it was there." And they're like, "Yeah, you're so great, Cry. This and that. We love you, dog. Like you're so dope. Like this and that." And he's like, "Yeah, I guess." And then he goes back to the hotel with them, the little inn, and he's like, "Hey guys, I've really been thinking about this for a long time. Like, I think I should leave your guys' party, because there's no point in me being here. This, and that." He says all the wrong words, and the one dude is sitting, the strongest one out of the party, is like, I've been thinking about this for a while. I think you should too. And, or not, I think you should too. He's like, I think we haven't had a leader in a while. We haven't had a leader. Nobody's the leader here. And
Hmm.
because I know you want to leave because you're so far separated from us, we're going to make you the leader. And everybody's like, yeah, he's going to be the leader because they think he's more powerful than them. Now, what I just discussed was a flashback. Now, how this show starts is pure comedy. So he's in a line, and this man is they're waiting to go into a tavern where essentially um they like hire new adventurers for like the top parties in the entire realm. Like all
Mm.
the top parties are there, like the masterful parties, like all this craziness. He's in a hoodie. You don't know who he is yet. He's in a hoodie. He's sitting in line. He's like, fuck, like, this and that. He ends up meeting this girl. The girl's like, I'm trying to get into, I forgot. She's like either the Grieving Souls or I'm trying to get into like, I forgot, it was like Sundance or something like that. If I screwed that name up, sorry, chat. But anyways, but he's like, I'm trying to get into, I'm trying to get. He's like, all right, well, good luck, have fun. And then he gets into the room. People are like fighting, fighting, fighting. These people are like arguing, and then this one girl who's like a part of, or like I guess a hang around of the top guild. She like senses something, and then she dashes to the wall. She puts her leg up on the wall, like a little split on the wall in front of him, and he's like on the ground, and she's like, "Master, is that you?" And everybody's like, "Master?" And he like takes his hood off, and he's like, I just want to go home. And she's like, we've been waiting on you. And then they pull him up to the thing, and this man looks cool too. Like he has like the earring on the top that chains down to the bottom. He has a shit ton of rings on, and he's like sitting at the table. And the one dude from the top guild, I mean the top guild of the entire kingdom, looks at him. They're like, Master, where have you been? Oh, we know what you were doing. You were in the crowd because you wanted to scope out the talent
I was
before
about to
we
say the same
accepted.
thing. No,
Mm-hmm.
is that what he was doing? Right?
This man was like, and then he was like, no, I was just late. He's like, oh, and you're not wearing your uniform. That makes sense because you wanted to hide amongst the public. And he's like, no, I slept in, and I really just didn't want to go on stage. And you're like, you're so funny, master. You're fucking hilarious,
Mm.
bro. And then he ends up getting into this way where somebody wants to join the party, and he said, I'm super strong. And he's like, all right, well, if you guys fight for this relic. He takes a ring off. He's like, fight for this relic, and whoever wins the relic gets to join this guild, join my guild. And he looks at his lieutenant, and he's like, you cool with that? And he's like, whatever you say, master. And then he flicks it, and then he leaves. He's like, all right, I'm out. Sneaks out. Like, and then people just start blowing the tavern up. Nyx is fighting. I mean, using powers, magic, swords, and like he ends up getting a bill in the mail for that. And he ends up going back to his crib, and it's just this massive mansion. I mean, a giant mansion.
Mm.
And at first, they call him the leader of the grieving souls, the but he was also in charge of this guild. And so I was confused because he's not a guild master. So think of it like there's parties and then there's houses. So they're not really guilds, they're like houses. There's the guild with the guild master, then there's houses, and then there's parties in those houses.
Mm.
So he's in charge of the grieving souls, who are the strongest S rank party in the entire world, but he's also in charge of the house that owns that party.
Mm.
So at first I was confused because I was like, wait, is he in charge of the grieving souls or is he in charge of the house? Well, he's the master of the house. Like he's the master of all the parties in that house.
Yeah,
And
that's why
he was
even the other alliances called the master.
yeah, like even the other parties that were there recruiting their members were
Mm.
calling him master and were calling him, sir and sensei, shit like that. And he I can't like again I can't really explain too much more. Well, because he's so weak, he's mastered the art of relics. So all his rings are relics, his necklaces is relics, his earrings are relics, he has a sword that's a relic, his clothes are relics. So essentially we know what relics are. They have powers in them. So he has a fire ring, he has a water ring, he has a self-defense ring. So like something tries to attack him, he has an infinity that just shows up and it can't attack him.
Mm.
His like all these relics, but they have to be charged. So like he has to constantly go get them charged. If he uses them, he has a cloak that lets him fly at Mach speed in air. Like so essentially he's broken, but he thinks he's using these only because he's weak. He's like, I can't do shit without relics. Like I suck. Like I'm weak. I don't know why these people want me to be their master so hard. And then he's also trying to quit. Like he's been trying to quit for the longest. That's why it says let this grieving soul retire. He's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to do anything. He avoids all responsibility for everything. He literally is afraid of everything. But every situation that happens is real. So like he lies about something, but it actually turns out that um like he says, "Oh, I need to go investigate this town." And then he goes investigate the town. Everybody's like, "There's a reason why Master's doing this," but he's just trying to escape. But then there's actually something happens in the town, that needed investigating. Or he's like, oh, hey, I'm gonna send you guys into this dungeon. If you see this monster, then look out. And they're like, why would that monster be in there? And then they go in there, and that specific monster is there. Like this shit happens.
Mm.
But there's certain moments in the show where he does this smile, and the smile indicates intelligence to me. So I have a theory. I have a theory about this show. We hear his internal thoughts about him being stupid
Mm.
and him being weak, but I think in real life he's pretending to himself that he's that way, but he knows everything he's doing is for a reason. Because it's at this point it's turning out that everything he's doing has a action and a reaction, and he prevents it however he does, whether it's accidentally or he just magically has his strongest party member with him,
Mm.
or he sends a whole party into a dungeon. Like, but in his mind, he's like, fuck, I don't want to go. I'm fucking, what am I going to do? I'm fucking terrified.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets there, and then he just magically runs into the people that needed saving. And then he accidentally kills the strongest boss in the dungeon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think he's pretending to be stupid to us too. So I think he's actually really intelligent and smart, and he's actually strong. Because even with I mean, relics is a tool. It's just like a sword. What's a hero without his hero sword? You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like, it's a relic is a tool. That's what
Mm-hmm.
all adventurers
Yeah.
use.
Yeah.
And he's like a master at relics. But this show to me is an S because it's hilarious too. So
Okay.
it's a S.
Um, I haven't watched the show yet. I
Yeah.
love the description. Pretty much feel like I've watched the first couple of episodes. Um, I feel from your description that the main character, suffers from what the heroes suffer. Are you current in the reincarnated as a slime, right?
Yes.
So remember the hero who was shown from the latest season. Everything he does, he always succeeds and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he suffers from that, where he's been blessed to everything he does. He always trips up to success,
Yeah.
in which now he's finally gotten you, the viewer, the audience, because
Maybe.
maybe this nigga's just trash, and he's trying to tell you he's trash, but you're like, nah, he
Master's
faking
not
it, he
trash.
faking
No,
it.
Master's not trash.
That shit was
Master.
hilarious because like I'm like, wait, he said all of this and still said that maybe he's no, bro's just
Because he's
trash.
done. Because
Let
he's
me
just done
retire.
shit. He's just done like he's mastered relics to a point where he can unlock things and other people's weapons that they can't even unlock that they've been mastering for years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and on purpose. Like that's not an that part of it's not an accident. Like he recruited this one lad who thought he was the strongest. Recruited him for a mission. He was gonna fight his little girl that is like in love with him,
Mm.
and they were gonna fight. And then he couldn't unlock the full potential of the sword. So this man literally like looked at the sword. It was stuck in the ground, and the dude was looking up at him, and because he was making fun of him because his name is called Thousand Tricks. That's his nickname because he has 1,000 tricks in his bag, which are his relics. And he goes like this to the sword. He goes ding, and the sword just lights up in this flame of fucking pure energy and magic. And the dude's like, "What the fuck? I could never unlock my sword like that." And then he like sends him out on a mission, and he's like, "Oh shit! I hope he realized his sword was a relic and he needed to get it charged."
Mm.
And like sends him out on a mission on accident. And
I,
he's like, "Oh shit,
I think that
my
may
bad."
be his thing. Then he's just a master of relics. Like he doesn't have his own special powers. He just mastered that, and
Yeah,
people see that because he's able to be so helpful because of it. So maybe that is his strength.
and we haven't seen all of the grieving souls yet. We've only seen two of them, which were his childhood friends, who are this top ranked S. But we've seen the one girl, and she's like a demon. Like she is absolutely a demon. Like well, another funny part before we move on to the next one is he made masks for his party. These masks are now the pinnacle of their group, and they consider him cruel because of what he does to them because he doesn't think things through. He's like, yeah, send two of them to the dungeon. They're like, two? It's like an S rank dungeon. Master, you're so cruel. And then he's like, oh, well, he got masks created from their heavy metal mask, but they don't have eye holes. And so when he brings it to his group, he's like, oh shit, I forgot the eye holes. And they're like, oh, we love this. You want us to just fight harder and fight. Our senses and our ears and nose need to be better. So we don't need our eyes to fight. But they've been using these masks for years now, and they fucking wipe people off the planet. I'm like, oh my god,
I love it
I like
for him.
that.
I love it for
Yeah,
him.
this
I don't
shit,
know
this
if I'm
shit
gonna
is
check it
ridiculous.
out though. You say it's an S higher than Gundam.
Higher than Gundam, yeah. I think it's higher than Gundam.
Like I feel
It's still low.
I like everything. Don't get me wrong. I just it just feels like we're watching a side story of that hero from everything. Like maybe because I know comedy can definitely win you over, so maybe the comedy aspect of it definitely brings it up. With all these situations happening, it's not just the hero always tripping up. So
Yeah.
I might check it out. I might check it out. Yeah, I might check it out.
It's good. I'm telling you. I hope you do check it out. Um, so the next one we have is the most notorious talker.
Hmm.
Now, most notorious talker is about our MC named Noel. Noel is the grandson of I forgot what his name is. He's like the super strong adventurer. I mean, like the baddest of baddest adventurers on the planet, and he wants to be one of those adventurers. He wants to be the guy who's in, but unfortunately, he gets the skill of talker. Now, a lot of us think, well, it is what we think it is, but it's also not. And this is one of the reasons why I really like this show is Talker is a class that's considered the weakest because all you really do is buff other people. So like you stand in the back and you say, as long as they follow your commands, you can be like, increase speed times 10 or, max your strength times 5 or you can like talk people into, you got motivation
Hmm.
essentially. Well, we also don't know that this man also has curse speech, so he can do curse speech as well. He can impose words on other people to make them stop, like stop moving or shit yourself. No, but
I mean,
like
I feel
he
like
can,
yeah, he
you
could.
know, you know. Um, so Noel is off to find a new party now because his last party, essentially, well, two of his members end up screwing him over. So it was him and three other people, and they were saving up a lot of money so they can end up becoming a clan. A clan is like the top tier of parties. They're like think of them like the last we were talking about houses, right? They're like the house. They're
Hmm.
like the house of the world. They get a lot of money, a lot of jobs, influence, things like that. Well, come to find out, two of his party members who are the captain of the party and his little girlfriend ended up gambling away all his earnings and all the earnings of the entire party. And we end up finding out that Lil Noel is a fucking psychopath. Like he's fucking crazy. Like this man is fucking insane. Doesn't care about other people unless you are worth something to him or you're valuable to him. Uh, you don't mean anything. And
Hmm.
so he ends up tracking them down with the other party member. He's like, "Are you sure you want to do this? Because I want you to know if this goes south, I'm gonna kill them. Like I'm gonna kill them. Like it is. There's no two ways around it." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." They end up finding them, talking to them. He uses a curse speech method where he gets them to tell the truth. They told the truth, and then he ends up calling his boy from the slave guild, from a big house, like a mob family house that sells people into slaves, ends up selling those two party members off as slaves. And the dude is pissed. Like his other team, he's like, I can't do this. Like I'm done. This and that. So now that's why it's called the most notorious talker. Is out to find the strongest, pretty much the strongest party he can.
Hmm.
And we get to a point where he ends up meeting this girl. This girl is from the Assassins Guild. She is super OP, by the way, and she's. I sent you a text. You didn't respond to it, but mm, yeah, she's good. She's good looking for sure. Um, she is the grandson or granddaughter of, well, we end up finding out she's actually the daughter, not the granddaughter, but she's the daughter of the top assassin that's been in the nation, who his grandfather actually beat in a fight. The only one that's ever beat her dad in a fight was that grandfather. So he told her to go off and find him, to either settle scores or he might be interesting, this, and that. Or the new guildmaster told her to go off and find him as well. So that's why she came. Now, she is the only member of his party so far currently. He is about to pick up another one in some of the last later seasons who is like a super powerful swordsman. But this show, for me, the show is good. I mean, it's fantastic.
Hmm.
I think the element of not just him buffing, because we've seen a lot of shows where it's like super weak MC, all they do is help other people, they buff other people, and so it's really just about him finding himself. But no, this man is a genuine psychopath. He could fight, like because he said if I'm gonna be a talker, I need to know how to fight. I need to be useful.
Hmm.
So like I can't just be a talker. So he trained with his grandpa damn near to death so he could fight and know martial arts and know how to use a sword, and he uses a gun. Like this is the only dude in the universe that uses a gun, and he's super strong, and he can also use Kurt speeds and tell people what to do, how to do it, so on and so forth. This is I needed to pick up a little bit more. I want to put it in S, but I need it to maybe just me. I need it to move a little faster.
Yeah.
I need it to move a little faster. It's definitely a high A. Like there's for me, it's a high A. But I need to just come on. I need him to because he's in the middle of a fight right now at this last season, and it got really good. But this last episode, um, I need us to get where we're going. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. I feel you on that one. Um, I agree. It's an A. I I think it's an A though because I really like his character
I
more
do too.
than I like the show. I don't know, do over Damsel, so I don't know if it's above or below that one. But
Mm,
I really like his character. The show, the world around him is like, man, it's done over, done over. But I like
yeah,
the fact that one, we had an idea of who he was, what he can
yeah,
do. It kind of came true of our idea, but also in better ways. So it was like,
yeah.
okay, we're doing all this, but he also can do this. And also as an element, he's a jack of all trades. He has a
Yeah.
history. He's trying to make a name for himself.
Trying to
He
create a
we
clan. Yeah.
started off at a point. I'm like, okay, he's going to start off from this point and only become better. No, we started here and then went to the bottom of the barrel again. He's like, all right, shit, now I got to do it all over again to get to the
Mm-hmm.
top. So from the title of the show, I'm like, he's going to get to the top right now. We just obviously got to go through the trenches to get to the top. I
Yeah.
don't think it's an S because of the world around him just isn't that interesting. Him, I'm all over his character. Pause.
Yeah.
No Diddy. I'm all over his character. I really like the assassin girl. I think she's a little sweetheart. I think there's good potential there.
Sweetheart. She said if he hires anybody else in this
I say
party,
sweetheart
I'm gonna
in
kill
terms
him.
of they
She said I'm gonna
have
kill
a
him.
little thing going on between each other. Obviously, she has a jealous
Yeah.
soul to her, and there was like a scene that I'm remembering where she was like waiting for him, and then somebody else like popped up outside. Is
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they were supposed
Yeah.
to go on a date, and she was like waiting for him to show up on a
She
date,
was
but he
on
was
the
doing
date,
other
and then
things.
it was the other girl that they met at the guild, or
Hmm.
that was a part of another party, showed up, and they were talking shit about how he left her on the date, but he was actually out there to investigate, and that's where he met the swordsman for the first time.
Yeah,
That's gonna be in his party later.
yeah,
So,
I like that she's all about him. Like
mhm.
going back
Yeah,
to how they even met, she with who her father is and who his grandfather is, we thought maybe she's going to try to come and kill this guy.
yeah.
She even fought against like the assassin guild to join the assassin guild, and then the guild leader's like, nah, like you're super powerful, but
She's a murderer. They don't want to do
nah,
that. Yeah,
you can't be with us. We're trying to go with a different direction. So
yeah.
we're like, oh, is she gonna come kill old boy? She's like,
She killed.
I want to follow you. Like I respect
Yeah,
you. I respect who your grandfather was. I want to see what you could become, see what you can do. I'm with her on that. But again, everything else in the world, I can't really tell you much about it because he's been the sole highlight of the show and he's just so interesting. So I'm with you on
you
an A.
get you get Orochimaru vibes from her dad, because like he had all those children, brought them into a facility, made them all fight to the death just so he
Mm,
can find one to replace him,
yeah, I can see that.
and then she killed him because he found like that's what he
It's
really wanted.
it's such a short stint with all the other stories
Yeah,
outside of
yeah,
him. That's why it's just not a lasting effect for me. Like
yeah,
you reminded me, like, yeah, that's what he did, but it's like, okay, but then we quickly move on to she's now with his party. That's it seems like
yeah,
everything is not really well written or drawn out to kind
yeah.
of give you
A lot of
backstories and
jumps.
everything. Yeah, just quick
Yeah,
informational dumps, and now this is why we're
yeah,
here, but we're here
yeah,
now. So A
yeah.
mid A. Again, I don't know do over Damsel. I don't
For
even know
me,
what's the last one again. I'm sorry, Dragon Life.
Dragon Life. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I will put over Dragon's Life.
I think it's in the same realm as Do Over Damsel. It's
Mm,
just I need Do Over Damsel. I need it to do what it's supposed to at this war start.
hmm
Talker, it's been great all the way up to it. I just need it to move a little bit
Yeah, it
faster.
needs to move forward.
But it's been
From what I
good
heard,
up
I
to
think
it.
Do Over Damsel might even be better. I'm looking forward to that
It
one.
may be. It may be. It may be. Next one we got is Loner Life in Another World. So Loner Life in Another World is one of those. It's tropey. The beginning of it is essentially tropey.
Mm,
So it is about a school of kids who end up getting teleported into another world. I will be completely honest with you. I'm couple episodes behind, so I don't know the reason yet why they're transported. Because most of the time you see that the class was transported for a reason. Like there's a demon lord, there's an army coming our way, there's this, there's this, there's that, there's a reason for it. But so far they've been trapped in the woods. Like these niggas are trapped in the woods. And some old ass god, some old grandpa god, was doing it for the first time and he fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're trapped in the woods. So we have our class who is going. When we see them get transported into the woods, our main character, whose name is Haruka, excuse me, Haruka, he's like, and one thing I love about these shows is when they explain that they know what's happening to them. He's
Mm-hmm.
like reading his manga, and he like sees and he's like, "Is that a magic circle that's
tried
forming in their
he
room?"
tried to avoid it at first, like
And
nope, 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 nope.
this nigga tries to leave. He's like, "Oh, I'm about to be isekai," and he's like, "Wait a second, I don't want that.
I don't want to. I don't want
I
to deal
don't
with
want.
that
That's
problem.
just, I don't want to deal with that." And then he tries to escape, and then he's like, "I tried to beat the door down, tried to beat the door down, didn't work." And then he's like, "I'm gonna go into the air vent." He goes into the air vent,
And then he
and
started
then he's
to
like, "He said magic circle ain't gonna touch me here." And then it's like, and he's like, ah. Like he ends up getting transported to the white space. We all know what the space is. We all know the infinite void of isekai heroes. And the old ass god is like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be with them. Like you're late. Like what's going on? Like so these are the only skills. This is the place where you get your skills, right? And so he's looking at the wall and he's like this he explained how the god this is the first time the god's ever done it.
mm.
So it was first come first serve for skills. Like sorry, like and so he's looking at all these shitty skills like dummy, neat, shut in, a villager A, like just these stupid ass skills. Walking, he's like, how is walking a fucking skill? And he's like having a little commentary on the bottom of the screen, which is really funny. It's like, how are all these skills? So he's like, so now my only option is to do this, and he starts complaining to the god. He's like, how could you leave me with these shitty skills? What am I supposed to do with these fucking skills? Da, 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 da. And then the grandpa's like, you know what? How about this? Every single skill that's left, you get every single one of them. I don't even care. Get the fuck out of here. And so he gives them every single skill on there. And he's like, fuck. All right, well, and then he gets transported down and he's like, well, let's see what these skills can do. And then he's like, all right, well, let me open up my main menu. And something that you can already tell what's going to happen. This is one of those tropey ones where you could just tell, you know, what's going to finna
Yeah.
happen. But then they're like, oh, before you have to do it, you get to roll for a power up. And he's like, fuck, I got that one skill. It's called like dice or something. I forgot what the skill is called, but it's like
Mm.
rolling dice. Oh, it's called rolling dice. And so he gets to roll dice, and that determines the number of points he can put into a certain skill. And so he's like, fuck. So he rolls the dice and it goes on M. I knew exactly what that meant when I saw
As soon
M.
as they said it, and like, oh, I wonder
I
what
knew
that means.
I was like, I knew exactly.
Really?
And he's like, put it in luck. And then it finally pulled up his HUD, and then it said luck max. And I was like, nigga, you know, how do you know about isekais and you read all these books and you didn't know that that shit was gonna be max? You're the OP
It had
one.
to be
You're the OP.
tropey in some way.
Yeah, like so he's like, okay, well, I'm max now. And then we just kind of go day to day with him learning his powers. So realistically, yeah, he was all those powers individually were shitty. They were shitty skills. All of the skills were bad, but all of them collectively has started to make him OP. This
Mm.
man ended up going into a cave and he made a hotel for himself. He made a room, he made beds, he made furniture. He now has appraisal skills where like his villager A thing, he can see everything, what's edible, what's not edible. He can what's medicinal, what's for sleep, what's for drug. Like he can see everything
Mm.
and what it is supposed to be. He has magical energy where he can imbue magic into things. Where his walker skill, when he or puts aura around himself, he can speed, he can sprint. He's like super fast. And so again, we know this motherfucker is going to be OP. And he even says it at one point. He's like, I may have not got OP skills, but I'm gonna make myself OP.
Mm.
So he starts combining all of these skills to become OP, and then the bad stuff starts to happen. Not bad stuff, but the interactions. He explains how he's a loner in his other world. He wants to be a loner in this world. He doesn't want to do shit with nobody. He wants to live by himself. He wants to just live out this dream, build this house that he wants, like all this stuff. And then he starts running into the groups of the other students. There's the delinquent guys, delinquent girls, the class reps, the nerds, and just the regulars, like other people who don't really have groups. And he's like, I don't want to be with none of them. Hands up. I'm charging it. I don't want to hang out with none of them, so on and so forth. And then he ends up saving some nerds because some nerds are about to get killed by these goblins. He's like, well, I used to talk to them for a bit. We used to trade mangas back and forth. We used to trade light novels back and forth. Like, let me save them. So he ends up saving them. One shots these goblins, and then they end up coming back to his crib, and they're like, "Holy shit, bro!" Like he's like, "Yeah, you guys want some coffee?" You see in the background? Did you see the kitchen in the background? This thing carved out the cave.
Yeah.
If you see, yeah, if you see the scene where he's pouring them like tea, there was a cut in behind his thing. It was a whole kitchen. It was a whole kitchen setup. This man's made it. He made it.
Yeah, I
He,
mean, I remember when the girls, when they came into his place and they were like describing his place, like, you live here by yourself? You could, and he was like telling how many people he could fit in there. I'm like, bro, like, obviously your shit is the your place is the
yeah.
shit. So why do you even have all the space in the first place? Like, what did you need all this space for in the first place?
I'd have done the same shit.
This show,
I'd be like,
you finished and I'll hop
yeah.
on.
So far, I really like the show. I don't think there's any, for me, there's no wow factor.
Hmm.
There's no wow factor in the show. It's very simple and straightforward. I started to get, and I'm glad they didn't do it, but I thought they were going to give us reincarnated as, wait, what was it? The monster one where they did day one, day two, day three. Every episode was day four, day
Hmm.
five.
Read
Like,
Monster.
Remonster, yeah. That's what I thought they were about to do because they did a day five and a day six and then a day seven. I was like, fuck, like it's about to be one of those.
Hmm.
But then I'm like, okay, they kind of went away from that. So I'm glad that they did that. But so far for me, I like the show. Don't get me wrong. It's a good show. I think it's funny. I think there's like something coming in the future, but it's not, there's no wow to it. It, it's one of those like I expect it to be funny because it seems like one of those funny shows, like one of those silly, goofy, shows or whatever it is. So like
Yeah.
it seems like there's going to be a lot of repetition with like groups coming into his crib and coming into his crib and then them wanting help from him and he just doesn't want to deal with it, but he's OP. Um uh Giving it a B would be bad, but it's like a low A. It's like a A.
Mm.
Giving it because a B
I'm
is
giving it a
like
B. I'm just gonna
really,
let you know now. I'm giving it a B.
really.
You make your decision where you fall. I'm giving it a B though.
I think giving it a B does a disservice because it's
Mm.
only mid season. I just think
Remember, B's not bad. B's
where are
good.
you at? You caught up?
Yeah, yeah, I'm caught up.
What all right,
Yeah,
what did
I'll
you
give my thoughts before you
yeah,
can.
what
Yeah.
yeah,
So I like his character. Again, this is
mm,
one of those. I like the character.
more than the show.
I like kind of how it started with him like, oh shit, I don't want to I want to be a loner, I want to be lazy, I want to be a neat. We know the tropes, we know it.
Mhm.
Him going into the white room, being able to pick his ability, I was like, okay, we're here again. But then they all sucked, and then him giving him all the abilities, I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then him, but then I knew like he's gonna get to this new world and all his fucking abilities, even though they're all minuscule, they're gonna have a great effect to make him OP in some way, especially when he puts them all together, which it
Mhm.
happens. And then he has
Mhm.
a skill called Loner, and is like, oh, he has to be alone. I'm like, okay, the tropes kill me.
Mhm.
Way too many tropes. Like,
Yeah,
I'm with it. He can do
I can
pretty
see
much
that.
everything. He's like I even like looked like Google. I like to Google information. Like the whole concept of them being sent to this world was simply because they were the delinquents, the troublemakers, the problem students. So they made a decision to just send them to this world, so they can either help this world or
So
either
it
here or
was
there wreck
it
their
was the
world.
old world that sent him to the
Yeah,
new
the
world.
school. I didn't even read too much into it. It just said the school sent them to this world.
Hmm.
Whatever. I There is nothing in the show that makes me want to invest in it. Like even thinking about the most current episodes, there's nothing I'm saying I'm really looking forward to this happening. I want to
Yeah.
see how this is going to play out. It's a decent show. The animation isn't nothing. It's nothing. It's just decent animation.
Yeah.
The main character, he's not that interesting. He's not super OP. He's not.
Yeah.
He doesn't have charisma that makes people want to see him succeed. He's kind of like could have been a side character,
Yeah.
but the show's about him, so we're seeing him live his side character life. It's a decent show, but it is not better than any show so far on this list, and I don't think anything's gonna come that is better than. So I'm willing to put it as a B.
Mhm. See, maybe I need to catch up on Goodbye Dragon Life, but I like the show better than Goodbye Dragon Life, and that's
Yeah,
based off of just the first 3 episodes.
I think
So,
I think Goodbye Dragon Life, it starts to bring the action, it starts to bring the magic, the fights, and that's what gives it the edge over this.
mm,
This show, like it never, you never get that. There's no
mm.
super action scenes. Like,
So far,
I mean, where is it going to come from? From any of his abilities?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Uh,
Mm,
I
they
think
might
it's better
introduce
than.
an enemy that is
I
super
think it
cool.
is under all of these shows for sure.
Mm,
I'm just not convinced about Goodbye Dragon Life, but I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna watch it, and I'll give my opinion. End of
okay,
season.
big
It's
facts,
gonna
big
be end of
facts.
season. End of season.
Hopefully, it
Next
comes
one we
up to an
got.
A.
Yeah. Next one we got is probably one of my favorite shows of the season so far, only because it's tropey, but
Mm.
but it's different tropey. Like it gives a trope, but it's different. And this is Demon Lord 2099.
You said one of your favorite shows of the season?
One of them, yeah. I actually really enjoy the show so far.
Okay, okay.
Um,
I want to hear it.
have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm concerned now that you don't like anything about this show.
Oh no, I
Um,
like the show, but you said one of your favorites.
one of my favorites. This season is stacked with really good ones.
Yeah, I think the
So,
season's too
um,
stacked. So let me hear you out.
so, so Demon Lord 2099 is about a demon lord, right?
Hmm.
It's about a demon lord who is in the past fighting against the heroes, fighting against the humans. This is the heroes win, right? The hero ends up slaying the demon lord. And his whole idea was the reason why you lost is because you don't see we fight a lot harder for life than you do because you don't see life as something that's important.
Hmm.
That's why we fight better. Maybe in your reincarnated life you can enjoy what it means to be human or whatever the fuck it is, right? And so he's like, huh, okay, interesting. Well, he ends up dying, air quote. He ends up dying, and fast forward into the future, I think it's like 500 years into the future, he ends up getting reincarnated by one of his, I guess you call it constituents, lieutenants. I guess I'll just call them lieutenants.
Hmm.
One of his lieutenants end up reincarnating him, and he's in like a subway, like he's in like in a demolished like underground subway, and he ends up coming out of his reincarnation, and he's like, "Thank you, you're so loyal, like this, and that," and she's like, all right, well, he's like, let me conquer this new world. And she's like, wait, before I tell you, like, and then he walks out and he just sees the city. And it's this cyberpunk-esque city with technology, flying cars, like holograms, like it's very cyberpunk-esque.
Hmm.
And he's like, what the fuck is going on? And then she gives him the history about how when the humans defeated the immortals, humans end up fighting against themselves. Once the humans started getting wars against themselves, they also started persecuting immortals and using them as slaves, using them as, we find out what they're really using them for later down the road.
Hmm.
But using them as slaves, persecuting them, killing them, so on and so forth. And then he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna show this new world my magic and show them that I'm top nigga. Like I'm that nigga, I'm that guy. And so he shoots up a spell into the air, and then nobody around him reacts. And
Big deal.
he's like, what the fuck? And then you see like what right across the city, somebody sees it, and you're like, oh, some idiot shooting off weather magic again.
Hmm.
Like, and he's like, why doesn't anybody? And she's like, we'll talk about that later. Don't even worry about it, big dog. Don't even worry about it, big
I'm
demon.
gonna be
We'll,
real
we'll
with
talk
you.
about
Beginning of this is her fault. She
it.
should
Yeah,
have did a lot of
she did not
talking
set,
from the beginning.
she did not set him up for success at all,
Hmm.
at all. She's the problem. And then he ends up. She's like, just wait right here. I'm gonna go figure out where I'm gonna take you. We're gonna do stuff. He's like, all right, bet. He ain't gonna stay there. I'm the fucking demon lord, bitch. Like I'm gonna go walk around. I'm gonna go meet my people. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And he's walking around, and people are not phased. He ends up walking up to a group of gang members, and he's like, "Hey, take your hands off of her!" And they beat his ass. And he's like, "What the fuck?" And his magic don't work against them.
Hmm.
And he's like, "What the fuck?" And then he's like, he meets a chick who ends up putting porn on the big screen in the city, which is fucking hilarious. She ends up putting porn on the screen. He's like, "Oh, you use this, and that to create this magic." She's like, "You could tell that just based off the magicules in the air." And he's like, "Yeah, I have the skill to see how people create spells." And she's like, "Oh, that's cool, blah blah blah." And then he ends up going to her. Like she comes back, sees him again. She's like, "All right, I'm gonna take you to my home so we can get you ready, so I can talk to you more about this world, so on and so forth." He's like, all right, where's the castle? She walks up to this big building. He's like, wow, you've really got a big castle for me. She's like, we're this way. And he's like, okay, so this whole building is yours. She's like, they walk upstairs, apartment, little 200 square foot apartment. He's like, so you lived in this the entire time waiting to reincarnate me? She's like, yes, yes, Lord, I did. And he's like, I love you. Like that's loyalty
It's
right there,
dedication.
and that's dedication. And I was like, I was assuming he was gonna be a dick, but he wasn't. And he's like, so are there any other of my lieutenants that are around? And she ends up telling him the story about a few of them died, some of them left, and then there's one who actually is in the city, which another one of those she needed to talk more of what the fuck was going on. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna go meet him. And he ends up showing up. And the lady at the front office, he goes to this building. The building's the biggest building in the city. And he's like, what the fuck? Okay, well, she's like, oh, we've been waiting for you. And he's like, okay. Ends up going up there, and the one of his lieutenants is sitting at this giant throne behind a giant desk, and he's like, Demon Lord Velto, how you doing? And he's like, come down here, we have shit to do. And he's like, no. And he's like, excuse me? He's like, you heard me, nigga. I said no. And he's like, yeah, no, come here. Like, we're gonna do this. And then he hits him with magic, and he's like, wait a second, you've never been able to do magic before. He's like, yeah, because we have this. And he shows him this little microchip kind of motherboard that sits in the back of his neck. And then we get the pretty much the explanation of why this city is the way it is, why people can use magic, why they so essentially they bridge the technology between magic and well technology. So technology and magic bridge the gap together, and he invented a device that implants in the back of your neck so that everybody can now use magic. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to conjure spells. You don't even know how you don't even know how spells work. You just think of a spell, you think of something you want to do, and based off of your subscription service, essentially, you can fucking use that magic.
Mm-hmm.
And that magic is stronger than pretty much most magic on that's probably the most strongest magic on the planet. The problem with Demon Lord Veltold is his magic is based off of who follows him or who worships him. His
Yeah,
followers it's
it's
the
like a
idea
god.
of like a god. It's the idea of a lot of gods in anime where their power is based off of who their believers are.
Mm.
And so that's why he's super weak right now. And so and the dude and one of his lieutenants said, and I also coded this magic so that high ranking immortals like yourself can't fucking use it. So good luck. And he's like, interesting. So they get into a little fight. He ends up losing. He ends up getting his ass beat because this dude has stronger magic than him right now
Decidedly.
because he has what one follower in the planet on the planet right now. And so he's like, I need to figure out a way to get followers. She's like, first, nigga, we need to go shopping because you look stupid. Like, and so they end up going shopping. He gets a new outfit. And this is where it gets really funny to me. And the trope changes from the usual trope to find followers. So he says, I know a girl who we can talk to about this whole idea and we can kind of figure out like what our next steps are. He ends up running back into that cyberpunk girl, that girl who's the cyber hacker.
Mm.
And she's like, oh shit. And he's like, oh, well, he has this thing where he's like, do you mind if I touch that device on the back of your neck? And he's like, sure. So he starts rubbing and shit. She gets a little, a little aroused. And then she explains, well, he has the ability that whatever he touches, he can essentially learn how to make it. Like he can essentially learn the functions and how it works and the intricacies. She's like, oh, okay, cool. So she's like, hey, well, what's the best way for you to be like to earn followers? What's the best way for you to earn believers? Things like that. And then the dude at the bar does the clutchest shit on the planet, changes the channel to a live streamer, like pretty much a Twitch streamer.
Mm.
And she's like, I got the perfect idea. And then this nigga, and she's like, I'm gonna bring all the equipment to your house. We gonna set it up. He's like, to do what? And he's like, you'll see. And then she's like, he's gonna be a streamer. He's like, yeah. And he has the whole setup, all the monitors, the cameras, the mics and shit. And he goes by Demon Lord Veltol. He goes by, dude, that's his name on Twitch. Like, follow him, give him a sub, prime sub. And he plays. They're trying to find out. One of the funniest parts is they're trying to find out what game he's good at so he can play it on stream. And they fucking load up fucking Dark Souls, which is hilarious because I looked up when this anime or this manga was written. Manga was written before Elden Ring came out, so I was gonna say Elden Ring,
Yeah.
but it was when Dark Souls was out, and I mean, Dark Souls and Elden Ring were created by the same people. It's essentially the same fucking game, and it has the whole like you died animation, like, and he keeps dying, he keeps falling into traps, dying from every enemy, and I thought that was fucking hilarious that they threw a little Dark Souls reference into that, and then the girl said, actually this works because one, you're hot, you look good, and you're older, so you can base your whole persona off of being really good looking and just sucking at video games. Like just sucking at video games, because like that you can make a persona off that. We know some people who do. Anyways, um, but he was like, okay. And so he starts streaming. And he's like, hello, everybody. I'm Demon Lord Veltolt. Like, thank you for tuning in. And he keeps sucking at video, but then he starts getting progressively better. And he gets chat and like, and eventually he gets 1 million subs. Like, if you see the number, like, I don't know if it's supposed to be different, if it's supposed to mean something, but like, he gets like 1 million subs on his channel, which are his followers. So essentially, the way he gamed the game was he doesn't have believers like a god, he has followers. He has like, it's a social media platform. Those followers are the ones that give him his power. And so now he's starting to get his power back. And his idea is to now fight against his lieutenant in order to pretty much reclaim the world. But he's like a successful streamer. He's fucking like he's I thought that shit was just fucking hilarious. And he is now also the bodyguard of the girl, the cyber hacker, and they're now like a pair where they go off and they fight. Um, they like go and steal stuff, hack into facilities. Like he's that guy. And then the last, probably like the last bit of information we really get about the story heading forward is that there is an engine in the world or in the city, because this is the last surviving city like in the area right here. That engine that they're using to power the whole city, they're actually using immortal people to put in that engine, because when
Mm.
they burn, they don't die. You're just using their energy. So they're perpetually in a state of burning. And so the problem is now they either have to stop the engine, which pretty much will demolish the city because people are dying, or they let it go, but they're letting immortals die as well. They're letting immortals be killed or be used as slaves to power this engine. So now they're kind of in a conundrum. I think this show is fucking fantastic. I can't wait to see where it goes forward in this show. It's an S to me. It's an absolute S. I think
Okay.
I wouldn't say like super high, but I think the change of trope, like it's a trope, but then they change it to something more like funny, like a streamer, like he's a fucking YouTube Twitch streamer. I think that's pretty good. So that's an S to me.
Okay. So where would you put this?
An S.
No, where on your ass? Bottom of the
Oh,
sparrow.
I'd say probably below Gundam.
So bottom of that sparrow. Okay. Okay. What your decision would have influenced my answer. Yeah, let's go ahead and put it at the bottom of the sparrow. Bottom of that sparrow. I like this show. Let me start by saying that I like the show. I just gave it bottom S. It's a S. You said a lot. Don't need to rehash that. My problem with the show is it has too many things.
Really?
Obviously, it's yeah. I'll get there. But again, I gave it an S, so obviously
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not a big problem.
yeah,
But
yeah.
this is where I'm coming from.
Okay.
We got a demon lord, theme number
Mhm.
one. We got reincarnation. Maybe those two things go hand in hand, but that's theme number two.
I mean,
We got
usually
a
they do them.
usually, but not always. Theme number two. Reincarnated into a cyberpunk world. Awesome. Theme number three. We have a romance going between the demon lord and the lieutenant. Theme number four. We
I
have
see.
betrayal. Theme number five. We have now we're fucking secret agents and we gotta go against his ultimate plan to get all the immortals and throw them into an engine. Isn't that the theme of Fire Force? Theme number seven. Like so many themes, and they're great. But it's
Yeah.
just like, where are we at? And then let's not even talk. Let's not forget he's a fucking streamer. When honestly, when that episode came out, I started to get upset. I'm like, wait, are we not demon lords anymore? And now he's a fucking streamer, and like it was funny, but it was like
Yeah.
I hope they don't make this the show, which they didn't, which is why I'm still able to keep it in the S. But it's just so many different things that they keep throwing out. I feel
I
like
think
it
there's a
could be
reason
an
though.
S by just choosing this and going with it.
I see your point. I do. I just think there's a point to it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the level of chaos and confusion of him coming into this world that we're also feeling ourselves.
Mm.
So I understand where you're coming. Like I see that. Like he's
It's
like, fuck,
chaotic.
I got
Yeah.
I gotta get followers. This nigga don't want to be my follower anymore. They're also killing immortals,
Mm.
and Or like I need followers. Like
You got
so
this
I see
technology that I can't use,
like
and
I
then you
see I
also
s-
introduce they can stop. He was able to
yeah.
stop the lieutenant's magic or
Yeah.
something with like that.
Yeah, it was, but I see where you're coming from. I just think that's kind of the point for him is he's coming into this new world thinking it's going to be simple and easy. All he has to do is maybe just get some
He
followers
thought
and then
shit
he'll
was
be
sweet.
fine. He thought she was sweet, but then he comes into all this chaos that he has to now do this, because as an emperor, if you really look behind the scenes of what kings and emperors have to do, there's always this, and this they have to control. And now
Mm.
he has to redo that in a place he knows nothing about because his lieutenant sucks at giving out information. Like if I was reincarnating you, I'd be like, bro, like I love you, sit the fuck down. I
Mm.
have to explain everything that's going
Facts.
on right now.
I
Like
think.
shut your mouth. like be like, let's have a conversation with
Mm,
me talking and you listening. Because before you leave this subway, you're gonna shit yourself. Like, you know.
I think he's the
So
reason why it's an S.
yeah,
With it being
absolutely.
so chaotic, if this was another character with all this shit going on and how they react to it, I feel like it would be an A, maybe a low A. But because he has this personality, he has this charisma, like they talk about it. Like he came into this world, he accepted the fact that he was betrayed. He accepted the fact that they were hunted down. He has his feelings about everything, but he's able to take everything in stride. I'm going to be a
Yeah,
streamer. Fuck it. I'm a streamer now. I'm now a fucking detective. That's what I do now. Like his personality is why I'm able to be like, okay, with how wild shit is, I think he's handling it really well. So
yeah.
if it starts to feel like it's like really this is cool with you, then it can bring it down for me. But we're on the edge of that. But right now, he makes it work. So low
Streamer was
S.
as easy as he fucking made it out to be. Get a million subs in a couple days.
God, he
Easy.
made it way too easy. Like, what? That's all we gotta do? Bet.
Yeah. All right, so the next one we got is actually one you're gonna have to go over because this is one of the ones I didn't watch. One of the only ones we actually have out right now. So this is Villainous. You got to tell me. You got to tell
Uh,
me about this show. 'Cause I don't know.
I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. So this one is a reincarnation. So we know the whole Ultimate freaking the games like the dating sim games. Well, she was reincarnated into one of those dating sim games. But the trope I like, personally,
Mhm.
for these dating trope animes is where the character is reincarnated as the villainess, the bad guy. So obviously you
Mhm.
have the main character. She's the one who has all the love interests, all the different princes and nobles who she could possibly get with blue hair, blonde hair, black hair, white hair. You know the waves. But
Yeah.
our main character is the villainess. So our villainess, her objective isn't to. So we. There's been other shows like this, but again, this I like this trope. Her objective is to be the best villainess that's ever been. So that's the name of the show. She wants to be a villainess that goes down in history. So every decision she makes from a small child up to this point, I think at this point she's like 14 years old. But she's like, how can I make a decision and everyone can then say, "Wow, that was a villainous decision." She doesn't want to be a disgusting, deceitful villainess. She wants to be a top class, prestigious villainess.
Mhm.
So immediately, I like that about her character.
Yeah.
There, in the show, once again, we have there is a the main character of the game, the one who
Mhm.
has all the different love interests. She gets placed as the person who's going to be kind of like her rival, kind of question
Yeah.
her because she has this very aloof personality. Oh, everything is rainbows and sunshine. There could be peace everywhere. I'm the saint because she's been identified at again that trope where she's that poor, normal, not noble, but she was identified as she's going to be the saint because she has access to all different types of magic. She can heal, do all those things. But her personality is very aloof, where she just thinks everything can be solved if we just talk about it and agree to peace. Well, our main character, she's like, fuck that. That's not how the world works. She's from our world. Remember, she was reincarnated
Yeah.
from our world, so she has some sense
Yeah.
of rationale, and she's trying to get her to understand that's not how things work.
I want smoke. All of it.
That's one small plot line of the story. Now, her character, in the game, she was supposed to be like a weaker villain. Everyone was supposed to hate her, but we're starting to see that in this world, because of the decisions that she made, the main love interest, the prince of the kingdom, actually is in love with her. Now, ages, not even gonna talk about it because me and Yordi laugh about that shit all the time. It's like, isn't she 14 years old? Isn't that your little sister? Whatever. But he's likes her, he loves her, and he's starting to realize that that girl, she has that same mentality or blessing where everyone around her loves her. No matter what she do, no matter what she say, they fall in love with her and think she's always right. She doesn't, and because he is in love with her instead of in the game where he's supposed to be in love with that the heroine of the game, he's in love with her. He also sees her for what she is. So where this story is going is we see that she has this spell over people. We know that she obviously is oblivious to the spell as well as the prince. How are we
Yeah,
going to get to the point? Is she the bad guy? Is she purposely doing the spell to control people, or is this just a blessing that she has no true control over?
yeah,
Ranking, all
yeah.
that. I know you don't care about, but the ranking. Where are we at? I think it's a good show. I really think it's a good show. I'm really a big I completely forgot the word I was going to use. I'm a big advocate. That's the word. I'm a big advocate for accepting that not every show is meant for every person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If this is your cup of tea, you obviously this is a shojo. This is for girls. I'm sorry. I like it. But this is for girls. This is for people who like the heroines, people who like
Mhm.
those Oribe games. If that is your cup of tea, I think it's an A. I think it's
Yeah.
a really good show. I've seen shows better than this that I've actually given an S on these type of shows, reviews, wrap ups. I've given an S. I think this is a solid A. Where on the A? I see you kind of wavering around. What was the first one again? I can't really see it.
Talker, Notorious talker.
Talker. Honestly, I think it's over Talker, but I'm willing to give it right after Talker because again,
Okay. I mean,
I think
again,
Talker
like
is
you
more
said,
of my cup of tea, but I also like
not
this.
not my cup of tea. So obviously, I would put Do Over Damsel over it. But again, we're talking about if it is your cup of tea,
Hmm,
because
hmm.
this isn't the type of shows I watch. So it'd be
Oh, Do
different
Over
for
Damsel. Actually, put it out to do it again. I haven't even seen Do Over Damsel, but from the description you gave me, I
yeah,
want to see it. So I'm
yeah.
gonna go ahead and put it above Dragon Life.
Because like if this was just me ranking these, obviously I would have never Villainous wouldn't have been on
Probably
here
wouldn't
because
even be
that's
on
just
them.
not.
It
Yeah,
wouldn't even
so
made it to the list.
it'd be E for
Not for
um,
everyone.
all right, so the next one we have is Terrified Teacher at Ghoul School. This was a unicorn.
Hmm.
I don't know what possessed me to watch this show, but
Yeah.
I was looking for something to watch. And I think I was just laying on a couch and I'd already caught up on everything else. And I
Hmm.
was like, damn, I have nothing to watch, but I really want to watch anime right now.
Hmm.
And so I saw it and I was like, fuck it, whatever. I hit it, cinema, absolute cinema. Yeah,
Wow.
like
Okay.
this show is, you know me, I hate school shows. Anything school related, I
Yeah.
despise.
What made you cut it on? Ghoul.
No idea, but yeah, it was probably Ghoul. Probably had something to do with Ghoul. Tokyo Ghoul flashbacks happened. I was like, yeah, maybe this is season 4. Who knows?
Hmm.
But this is essentially about our main character named Mei Mei. Mei Mei is a teacher who didn't quite make it as a high school teacher in real high school, right? So he ends up getting a job offer at a school that's like up in the mountains,
Hmm.
and he's like, okay. And he also has this like way about him where he's terrified of everything. He's kind of like, oh, like he's like really like he's a super annoying. I'm gonna be honest, he's super fucking annoying. But he's also really funny. So he goes to the school and then he's like, all right, this will be your new class, this and that. The headmaster has a Oni mask on, and he's like, this will be your new class, this, and that. He's like, this is a weird school, but sure. Walks in, all these kids are like, one of them's a giant skeleton, one of them's like mud sitting on a desk, another one has like one eye in the middle of his head, and he's like, ah, like freaks the fuck
Freaks
out,
out. Wow. Okay.
freaks the fuck out. And he's like, they're like, oh, relax, relax. And they're like, we're not gonna hurt you. Like, we're not gonna hurt you. We just know that you're like super. We just know that you're like a good teacher, and we just want you here. We need a new teacher, like this and that. And I can't exactly remember the reason why, but I know there's a reason coming for one reason, right? We end up finding out that his family actually runs a shrine in the lower city. The shrine is essentially protects you. They're a generation of exorcists,
Hmm.
so they can exorcise yokai. So they can exercise demons, they can exercise ghouls, like they can exercise all of them. But this is a school full of yokai. We find out that our teacher is actually the first one in about 100 years that has had the actual powers to exercise demons. And he has like, but he uses it. Um, he uses it without him knowing. Like he uses it in emotional moments.
Mm.
So when he gets emotional, his powers come out. And so his older brother, well, his twin brother technically, his twin brother gave him a bracelet that essentially suppresses some of his powers because he's like, well, if you're, he doesn't like him working at ghoul school because his entire family hates ghouls. Not anymore because we just had a recent episode where he brought some of his students to his house for like vacation so they can like meet his family and this and that. And they love him. So they're kind of cool. But his whole generation of family before him, their job was to exorcise demons. So think of like Demon Slayer essentially. They were like demon slayers.
Mm.
And but this is the show, the only plot in this show is the fact that he is finally learning that he has these powers and there's a reason why he was brought to this school. We don't know why yet, but all this show really is just his day in the life of being a teacher, a human teacher that gets bullied by his fucking students, and it's absolute fucking comedy. And his students are slowly loving him as he's there. Like at first they hated him. He had the delinquent class, right? He had the class of delinquents, but they're slowly loving him as the time goes on.
Okay.
And it's every second of it is just funny as fuck. And you get to see them go out and do tests like, all right, so so we got to go out and do a field test. All right, two of you at a time need to go scare people at this abandoned mall because there's kids that come to this abandoned mall all the time because they're yokai, they're fucking demons. They have to scare people. It's like a school. Think of it like Monsters University, like on Monsters Inc.
Mm-hmm.
Like they learn how to scare people. Like that's what this school is for. And so we're kind of learning why he's there. And the headmaster himself is like one of the most powerful Oni or powerful yokai in all of Japan. And we don't quite know what he is yet. And then they also, what's really fascinating about the show that I love is that when a new yokai shows up, this little star weird thing comes out and he's like, yokai dictionary, this yokai is this, and it does this, and that. And if you look it up, that's the literal like historical yokai that you would think would be in Japan. And it's accurate.
Mm.
Like, I mean, who knows if it's really real, but you know what I'm saying. So this show for me is an A, only because it's still it doesn't have a plot. Like there's no,
Yeah.
it's just a funny show. It's just a show you cut on to just enjoy. You could sit there and watch. It's in English. Like every episode that drops is in fucking English. Like it's so far. I don't. Maybe I'm behind, but I'm caught up, and it was in English.
Okay.
So, but this show is an A to me. It's literally just a comedic relief show with just a school community. That's all I can really say about it. But it's
Yeah.
an A. Absolute A.
I think it's probably another one of those shows that have like an audience. It's a niche, like who likes schools, who likes school type of things.
Yeah.
It's not.
And
It's
I'm not that, which is weird.
yeah, no, and I agree. It's one of those things. It's not meant for everything. Like there's animes that are meant for everyone, obviously, but this one is like not everyone will love it. It's that diamond and rough. Like if you love it, you love it. If you don't, you don't. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I think I was just thinking like we need more shows like that. The stuff that
Yeah.
not people are just gonna watch. Know what I mean? Like I would have never watched this. Like I don't even know how the hell you watched it. So
Bro, I'm telling you, I was literally like, I really want to watch anime, and I've already caught up on this season. What the fuck else am I gonna watch? And I was like, let me be a good content creator and not watch like an old show that has 2 seasons already. Let me find something new that maybe I wouldn't have watched, or whatever. I'm sure there's something I missed.
Yeah.
And I just saw it, and I was like, this looks interesting. I don't know why I clicked it, and I was like, I'm sold. I'm sold
Bad.
on the show. I'm watching it. So
Bad.
if this is your shit, if this is your jaunt, you would probably put it at an S if it was yours. It's just because it's not mine that I'm not putting it in an S.
and you're putting it in
Because
the low dragon life.
no, I would not. But what your explanation is what's making me do this. Because one, this is not my niche show. This is not my cup of tea. But I still love this show. And the reason number two is your explanation of Dragon Life is what's making me not
Second
put it
guess
above
it.
Dragon Life.
Okay, catch up first, and then we might come back to that.
Yeah, but it's definitely an A for sure.
All right,
The next
okay.
one we have, so we're down to the last two. So we have Dandadan. Dandadan is on that crack cocaine.
It's on something.
Dandadan is a show about our main characters Momo and Okuran. Yeah, that's his nickname.
Yeah, it's nickname.
His nickname is Okuran. And this show is about a young lady who does not believe that aliens exist and a young boy who does not believe ghosts exist. They end up meeting in school, and they make a bet. And they says, well, You go to a place that aliens are meant to show up. You go to a place that ghosts are supposed to show up. So they switch places. While they're there, they're on the phone with each other, and just so happens that they're both fucking real. Ghosts are real, and so are aliens. Well, our girl, well, before she ends up getting kidnapped, he comes to face with a fucking granny demon, a ghost that's like, I want to eat your dong. Give me your wing wang. And he's like, not my penis. And then he runs. I don't want to get like, canceled for that. But he's like, no. And she's like, no, don't run. You can't run. Blah 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 blah. And he runs. This nigga runs. And he's in the show. It looks like he's running fast, but this granny is booking it. And he ends up getting clapped by her. Not like that, but he ends
I
up
mean,
getting capped.
are you
Well, I
sure?
mean, technically,
Are you
technically,
sure?
yeah. And then as soon as that's happening, she's like, I'm on my way to you. She ends up getting an alien ship, ends up beaming her ass up.
Mm.
And then we get into some interesting stuff because these are teenagers. Um, she ends up being strapped down to a bed or like think of a probing table. Anybody who knows anything about aliens, they know people do, yeah. And they say, so far, well, from what I understand, the aliens are confused about what part she has because they keep wanting, they say, give me your banana, because they say that they can't reproduce themselves. So they essentially kidnap women and reproduce with them so they can have more people for their alien culture or their alien civilization.
Mm.
And they have a giant metal alien thing.
You're having some
Yeah,
trouble, some hard trouble with
yeah,
this.
it's yeah. When you really think about what's happening or what they're finna do, it's kind of hard because these are teenagers. Um, but and their thing is give me your banana, and
Mm.
so I think they think that she has a banana, but she doesn't. That's just what I understand from it because that's all they say.
Mm.
And we see our boy Okuran come into the spaceship, like blast through the bottom of the spaceship, pretty much half granified, like half Oni, half himself. And he's like fighting this power, and he's like, I can't. And then he starts beating the shit out of these aliens. But then he's about to come for her as well. She ends up figuring out like she actually has some powers. She does a little flashback. She has some actual powers where she has like telekinesis. She can move things, stop things from moving. She can pick things up, put them down, and she ends up breaking free of her restraints, and they beat these aliens' asses. And then they get back down to the planet, and he's like, he now can't control these powers, and so it's up to her that they have to stick together because her family also comes from a shrine family who would fight Oni and fight demons and fight ghouls and things like that. And now that she's unlocked her powers, she's the only one that can keep his powers in restraint. She can keep him restrained, and now we're just really in a fight. And the last episode I watched, which I don't know if it's the most recent, it's probably not. Um, but they end up going back to the house. He ends up getting fried, which I think is hilarious because he walks through that. He like tries to step through the shrine gate, and it has that seal on it, and he gets fucked up because he has the demon ghost inside of him, and they're there, and then the aliens end up attacking them again,
Mm.
and now it's a sumo wrestler, and we get they're fighting. Give me your banana, and he ends up turning into his final form of his mixture between the granny spirit and himself, which is like a really dope, like kind of like a kaiju number 8 kind of esque thing.
Mm.
And he also doesn't have a penis, so they're now on a journey to get his dong back
Mm.
because she ate it. We don't even know if he can get his dong back, to be honest.
Wait. You said that's the most up to date you are?
I know there's a few more episodes
Oh
left,
yeah,
but yeah,
there's a lot out,
yeah,
but
yeah,
that's as far
yeah.
as you are though.
So far, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
so far.
okay.
But I
Where
think
do
the
you put it?
show's uh from what I've seen, um, it's hard because I think it's just stupid. Like the show's just dumb. Like
Hmm.
I think but it has a essence to it, and when he gets his final form, like he's like cell perfected.
Hmm.
I think it's gonna be cool. I give it like a really high A, maybe
Hmm.
an S, maybe like a low S.
Okay, okay. That is interesting. Interesting. Um, I
I just
did
think the show's
not
stupid.
like this show at at the beginning. I did not
Yeah.
like this show. Episode one, it was just weird. The whole alien abduction, the whole let
That's
me
why I told you it was.
eat your dong and you could suckle my teats. It was just really weird.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it was one of those things where everyone was like, "You're gonna love this show. This show is this story because it's a manga, obviously first. It's amazing. You're gonna love it."
Yeah,
And I was like, I want to like it. And I think the only thing that kind of kept me interested is it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny in the
yeah,
beginning. So
yeah,
I love the fact that you're not that far yet because your first thoughts is how I felt at the beginning. Like I feel like it's good, but I don't know why yet. But it's just stupid right now. But the
yeah. It's
animation
just
is
stupid.
amazing. The
Yep.
fights, the choreography is amazing. Like everything's fluid. Like all those things are amazing. It's just like,
Hmm.
what are we doing? I'm a little bit further ahead. I'm sure you've seen Grandma, like
Yeah.
her grandmother. She's banging hot. Like I'm happy you haven't got that far because that probably would have turned into a 10-minute conversation because she's smoking. She's smoking. We obviously the girl becomes more powerful. We're not
Hmm.
done with Turbo Granny. They gotta actually go fight her so he can get his penis back. Like there's so much more to
Just,
it.
just the fact that you just said that is the problem.
Look, hey,
Like,
hey, and this is something that I feel like needs to be said too, though. And this is something that someone like I read it somewhere when I first started watching it, and I'm like, I took it with a grain of salt. They said that this is not what the show is about. The whole sexual harassment with the aliens, the whole sexual harassment from the ghosts, this
sexual
is
assault.
not what the show is about. This is the introduction to it, and continuing watching it. Continuing on, the show is actually really good. It's like
Yeah.
the animation continues to be great, the choreography continues to be great, the music score continues to be great, the characters that we meet, that we finally find out what happens with
Yep.
the Turbo Granny with her new transition. Like I love this show. Like when
I,
it comes to this season, this is probably one of my favorite shows.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know anything about this show coming into it, and I didn't know that these were kids. I knew they were young, but I didn't know they were children. And then when that scene happened with her on the ship, I kind of almost turned it off. I was
Hmm.
like, I'm not about to watch this happen to a
Oh,
four,
how
15.
do you say they are? They're not.
They're high schoolers.
Yeah, they're like 17 years old. They're going to college next year.
They're still
No,
minors.
no, no. I'm with you. But
Yeah, like
again, Japan
I'm not.
17 is not
Yeah,
America
I'm not.
17. But
Yeah,
they're
no,
like
I'm not
17
calling you
years
out. But
old.
I'm just saying, like, but still, for me, they're teenagers, right? And so
This is the same show where the
I was
dude
just
was
like,
like, "Oh, it's not a etchy." Remember when I first
yeah,
said, "Oh, the
hmm,
etchy's coming out"? He's like, It's not about that." And I'm like,
yeah,
"But look at it."
yeah. Like,
Agreed.
I the first that scene, I was like,
And that's
are we
episode
gonna
one.
do? Because I said if we're gonna do this for the rest of the show,
Mm.
I don't know if I can do this. But then there was something about it that when it went away and nothing happened, I was like, okay, nothing happened. Let me move. Let me
Okay.
move
Let
forward a
me
little bit.
unclutch my pearls. Let me.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I was like, I don't know if I can, and then they got into a little bit more of other shit. And the fact that you're telling me that that's not what it's about going forward, then I'm happy. But there's still the whole idea of, give me your banana
You're a bit
and I want
apprehensive. I
I
understand.
want to I want to eat your dong, which she did. I mean, it's gone,
She did.
but
She did twice. But
it's gone.
no spoilers. No spoilers.
I put it at as a high A. So where are you putting it?
I'm putting it as a S. I'm putting it as a
Okay.
S. What was the first show again? No,
So
I'm blind.
we got Let This Grieving Soul Retire,
I'm putting it above that.
Gundam,
I'm putting it above Gundam. What's the
and
first show?
then Demon Lord 29. Yeah, Let This Grieving Soul Retire. That's the
I'm
first
putting
one.
it above Demon Lord 2099. I think I think it's probably the best out of this list.
Okay. Okay. All right. I trust you. I'm still gonna watch it. Like obviously,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not.
definitely check it out. I think
Yeah,
you'll
I'm
like it.
definitely. This is not something I'm gonna drop at all. But all right. So the last show we got on our list to wrap this up is gonna be Mecha Uday. Mecha Uday is something I know you haven't watched. Probably something you will never watch. And I'm telling you, you probably will not like it. And the reason why I'm saying that is Mecha Uday is about a kid named Hikaru. This is literally copy paste Parasite, but instead it's with mechanical
Mm-hmm. We
parasites.
said that.
Like
We
they're
said that.
yeah, mechanic like it's literally like mechanical arms. Think of I mean you've seen the picture. It's a giant mechanical arm. It attaches to your skin and instead these arms aren't trying to kill you. They were just escaping their planet that was being or their universe that was being destroyed.
Hmm.
And so they escaped here and they realized that they couldn't live without being tied to something organically like they were in their planet. And so now they're tying themselves to specific humans. And this show is about Hikaru, who was not supposed to be where he was supposed to be. He heard this mechanical arm asking for help. And so he went there. The mechanical arm actually ended up, which I think is the dumbest thing in this fucking show, which pisses me off, is that this mechanical arm was so frightened and trying to escape that he attached himself to his hoodie, like the hood, like his hood and his hoodie, like not his body, his hood.
Parasite. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
yeah. And so other people have other ones. Like there's a bunch of different ones, just like Parasite. They're cool. Don't get me wrong. The fight scenes, great. There's this girl that's with him that's now his partner that has two that come out her back because one of them used to be her twin sisters. And so you can take them off of people and put them on yourself. Her twin sister died. She didn't really die. She ended up having to get with this like worm site. Well, it's a whole thing.
Okay.
But there's the main plot of this story is that there's one faction that's trying to get Hikaru's because he's our main character. That one is the key. His mecha ude, his mecha arm is the key
Uh,
to unlocking the power to get them back into their universe and being
mm,
like sustainability. So obviously he has the key. The one faction that's considered to be evil is fighting for that, and his faction is considered to be like the rebellion. They're the rebellion against the big corporation. We end up finding out that actually his mecha arm was actually owned by the other faction's founder, who was the father and the first one to ever have one. And he was actually a really good guy and did a lot for the community, was really nice, was like helped a lot of the mecha arms get onto people that they were supposed to be onto. But when he died, the company turned into a sour company. They turned bad, trying to subjugate these mecha arms and suppress their AI. So they're sentient, like just like Parasite.
mm.
And but there's no this gives me I don't know if you haven't really seen it. We've talked about it before, but it gives me like Shaman King, Kill La Kill. Um, it's like that style. It's like a kid cartoon
Yeah,
kind of esque to it. Um,
I remember
it's
Kill a Kill.
yeah, it's not bad, but it's not good. Like there's nothing. It's just like okay,
I started Shaman King. I watched the majority of Kill a Kill, did not finish it.
yeah.
From everything you're saying, it feels like those, and I understand why one wouldn't be too thrilled about it.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, it's quite literally copy paste Parasite just with mecha arms like technology instead of actual parasites.
Parasite was a
But
winning formula, though.
but these parasites don't infect their host. These ones work synonymously with their host just to survive, and then they fight other mecha arms that are trying to that are either evil
Mm,
or that other company is suppressing their emotion. So like they're now partnered up with this one kid who was suppressing this super powerful one, and then they unsuppressed him when they captured it, and now this mecha arm or this mecha whatever the fuck it's called like beats his ass and tells him to say sorry all the time because he was a dickhead.
mm.
You know, because these things are not they're inherently nice. Like these little robot things, they're nice. They're not evil at all. They don't want to be subjugated. They just want to live and survive, and they can do that with their hosts. And they can also disappear. They're not constantly on you. They can like disappear back inside you, so they can hide and shit like that. So, um,
Parasite,
that's a
got
B.
it.
It's a B because it's copy paste Parasite. It's something I can probably throw on
Mm.
and like just enjoy in English and just chill.
So
But it's
where
not.
does it
It's
fail that Parasite succeeded at then? Because I wouldn't give
Parasite did it.
Parasite a beat. I wouldn't.
Parasite did it first. One.
Uh,
Parasite had more depth to it because it was also like a fight for survival from the humans themselves,
mm-hmm.
right? Like the parasites were bad. Like they're like we are fucking eating people. We are taking over your brains. You are ours now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a genuine struggle. Plus, it was a lot more. There was a lot more horror to it. This is very kid cartoon-esque, while Parasite is very adult.
I get it
The
now.
Parasite is TVMA. This would be like PG. This was something that you throw on Cartoon Network, maybe Toonami, maybe Cartoon Network.
So Parasite is literally a sign-in, and this
Yeah,
is a shonen. This is for this is the kid
yeah,
version
little
of
boy.
Parasite.
Yeah, this is like the kid version of Parasite, and it's
Yeah,
just
I would
very,
rate it because
it's
that.
it's very cringe. Like it's just like, oh, and the fact that it's like, and the one thing that really, besides the hood, it's part of the hoodie thing that pisses me off is like we've seen that you can take these mechanical arms off of things and put them back on your body, and he still keeps it in his fucking hoodie. Like he is yet to put it on his body somewhere.
Does it
But
make him
we've also
stronger
seen,
for it being on his
we
body?
so apparently we found out that everybody has specific molecules in their body that make them adaptable to these arms. Like you're either really strong with it or you're not. So it depends on how strong you'll be. And he apparently has zero. Like he cannot get stronger with these arms, but because his one is the key, it's the strongest one in the world, of course. He has this now. He now has this power where he just unlocked where it comes on his arm and it's a giant fucking arm where and his eye like glows like a fire and he's like he has like a form that like can beat anybody's asses, but he can barely control it.
So he's
And
the
so
weakest compatibility wise,
he's
and he's
the
only
weakest
strong because of this
because
alien who just so happens to be the
the
strongest of
strongest.
all of them. But
But
he
he
can't.
lost his memories
But he
too.
can't. Obviously,
Yeah, the
yeah.
mechanical arm lost
I'm
his
not watching
memories.
this. Oh,
And then
and the mechanical arm lost his memory, so it doesn't even know it's the. I'm not watching this. B, okay, a B is a good. B still means watch it if this is your cup of tea.
I mean, I'm going to watch it just
Hmm.
because I can enjoy just the fighting.
It's not
It's
bad.
kind of
It's
like
just it's
it's
good.
the fighting is good. I don't see there being anything exciting about the wrap up between these two companies.
Mm.
I don't like every time they fight somebody in a company, they always like turn them to their side or like you talk no jutsu them or I'm just like I don't give a fuck. Like the one kid, they introduced one badass kid who had these like worm style mechanical arms. Like think of Doctor Octopus, right? Like Doc
Mm.
Ock, and was a fucking G, killing niggas left and right. Because if you pull somebody's arm out of their body, like their mechanical thing, they leak these magicules or these molecules, and they will die. Like if you don't
Mm.
get it sealed up or get their arm back onto them, you will die. And he was killing niggas left and right. And then now all of a sudden, because this other dude who's like his big brother told him to be nice, now he's going to the school with this kid, and now he's like working with them.
Man,
But
for
he said,
kids.
but now he's like that kid where it's like eventually I'm because he wants that arm off of him because he knows what it is. He's like eventually I'm gonna fucking kill you and take that arm, and they're
No,
like
he's
yeah
not.
whatever.
That's never gonna happen.
Yeah,
They're gonna be
it's
best
one of the
friends. It's all good.
it's literally one of those where he's just like, I'm gonna kill you, right? And they're just like, haha, you're so funny. But then he works with them and fights with them, like, bro.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just as we get older, sometimes we want the stakes to be a little higher, and that show
Right.
just the stakes aren't that high.
We need niggas dead. I want to see people die.
All
Like
right.
that's all I want to see. Anyways, that this season's looking good.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
I've been saying it for the
I'm not.
past few weeks. This season is definitely a
Yeah.
really great season, especially for the new stuff. A lot of new things, more things that I've
Mhm.
watched myself, and they were all pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate it, you guys. If there's something we missed, you something you want us to cover, again, we're gonna do our seasonal wrap up. If there's some diamond in the rough, if there's some show that we just completely missed, like I think Eminence and Shadow was the last one we really like a big one we really missed.
Did we miss
Like a
that?
long time, yeah, a long time ago. Somebody commented and said, "Hey, y'all never went over Eminence and Shadow." We were like, "What are you talking about?" And then we went and watched it, and we were like, "Holy fuck! Like
Mm,
this show is amazing."
damn.
So if you see something on there that maybe we've missed that's actually really, really banging, I mean, for those of y'all who've been here long enough, you kind of know what shows we like, or you should at this point. If you're true fans, I'm trying to get my Demon Lord 2099 followers up. Um, just let us know down in the comments. Again, like, subscribe, leave a comment, ring the notification bells so you don't miss out on our episodes. We will be doing another giveaway here around probably December time, closer to Christmas, maybe a little 25 days of Christmas. And so just look out for that. We appreciate it. We love you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Peace.